Bali is concerned about how tourism's unstoppable flow is harming the environment. Communities and traditional leaders in Bali are voicing their worries on the environmental effects of the rise of mass tourism. Building developments for hotels, guest houses, and rental residences for visitors and long-term international residents have frequently been constructed over productive farmland in places like Canggu and the villages surrounding Ubud. Concerns about the ecosystem and the future of tourism on the island of the gods are being expressed by anthropologists, environmentalists, and traditional Balinese officials. Following a conversation on September 18 at the Community Hub House in Denpasar, local communities have spoken with journalists about their perceptions of tourist growth. G20 and the Future of Bali was the event's tagline. Iwayan Westa, a Balinese culturalist, gave his thoughts of the island's explosive growth during the last 2 decades. He outlined his perspective, describing Bali as an open fortress that welcomes an unstoppable torrent of tourists. He claimed that despite the undeniably favorable effects of these large advancements on the economy, he is concerned that agricultural land has been sacrificed in favor of the growth of the tourism industry. Governor Wayan Koster is being calmly and respectfully opposed by Westa, who contends that the island and the tourism industry will ultimately profit from more stringent environmental protection laws. Food scarcity and Bali's apparent water shortage may both worsen as there is a decreasing amount of agricultural land available for farming. Governor Koster recently gave a media interview in which he discussed his goals for the promotion of sustainable tourism and food security. According to him, developing massive and basic infrastructure, as well as tourism that promotes local agricultural output, is the key to growing tourist while ensuring food security. The perspective that Westa is adopting is not one of monumental infrastructure. He informed the media that securing the island's future required putting the environment first. How much land, how many rivers, and how many water sources have we managed to preserve? He asked. Next, sketch out what Bali will look like in the future. Iwandi Wantama, the chairman of the Indonesian Conservation Foundation, contributed throughout the conversation. The impact of tourism development on coastal ecological vulnerability. Of the 9 Regency cities, 5 Regency cities have seen saltwater intrusion, he said in further explanation. Why does that matter? In Bali, for example, seawater seeps into an aquifer that is supposed to be filled with fresh water. This indicates that our groundwater is being extracted on a big scale. How, for instance, do hotels and villas use our groundwater? It's not in control. Wantama encouraged the government to pay more attention to the situation, citing the sinking of Jakarta and Semarang as an illustration. He warned that if the problem is not addressed more thoroughly and immediately, tidal flooding incidents might fast become the norm. Although the conditions in Bali's forest region are not perfect, he added, water contamination happens, the lake is contaminated, and seawater intrusion occurs. These are the facts that must be taken into account while predicting Bali's future course. Deputy Governor Kakase, who was present at the occasion, shared the opinions expressed by the panel discussion participants. According to him, any future construction must be in favor of environment protection, reinforcing the cultural identity, and increasing the quality of life for the Balinese people. Save environment, culture, and people since they are our only resources, said the chairperson of the Indonesian Hotel and Restaurant Association, PHRI. We should put an abrupt stop to tourist development if we understand that it is harming these 3 things. Although no policy changes were announced, local communities anticipate that events of this nature will bring their observations and experiences to the attention of policymakers, enabling sustainable tourism development and the adoption of appropriate measures to address the environmental problems they have brought to light.